What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are getting on some live seller calls and about to loop in my JV partner here for a transaction that we're going to call the seller and hopefully get these contracts locked up. So let's see what happens.
Hello.
Aaron,
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
good, good. We are live on YouTube getting ready to reach out to this seller.
Let's do it, my friend. Let's get this wrapped up. Let's help Carl out, and let's move to the next one.
Yeah, man. All right, give me a second. Let me just pull up his info here and make sure I have these contracts all squared up.
Yeah, he never replied to me about what he does for work as well.
Got it.
I was like, hey man, what are you doing for work? Like, I know you're probably tired, but he didn't seem like he was too pooped out to get on the phone today.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Perfect. All right, let's see here. So, and then Pauline, just make sure. You know what? Let me I want to have this all good to go so it's just easy peasy. And second here. Just getting the second contract with there's a couple signature fields that I needed to remove since there's only one person. And then fill in the name there. Today's the 15th. Okay, so let me update that.
Yeah, man.
All right. Okay, I think we are ready to rock. So I'm gonna loop him in right now.
Yes, sir.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 7.
Okay, let's double dial him.
Dadgummit.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 770307.
Okay. You want to shoot him a text real quick?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that right now. Let him know that we're sitting down at the office. We're trying to get in contact with him.
I would just say, hey, Carl, is now a bad time?
He just texted me
Oh,
around
okay.
5:55 that I just saw. He said, "Sounds good. I manage a distribution center."
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, so that's a pretty busy gig.
Let me shoot him a text, letting him know we called. Hey, Carl, just reached out with me and Chris here. We're in the office. Is now a good time? Okay, that just sent.
Perfect, perfect. Did you end up reconnecting with that guy on the vacant lot?
About that one, the numbers were really tight on that one. I haven't spent too much time on that due to the numbers on it,
Yeah,
and I really don't think it's worth anything because you paid 12,000 for it,
I
and it's
agree.
just like, do you have the address? Did I show you the address?
No, I didn't see the address at all. But
You want me to shoot that over to you?
yeah, shoot it over to me. I'll take a look.
I'll send you that right now. He's motivated. I mean, he wants to sell it. It's just I don't know why he bought it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, yeah, a lot of times, guys see that type of stuff and they're like, oh, maybe I'll hold it for a few years and then, be able to make my money back, make some extra profit. Um, but they rarely ever amount to anything.
Right, right. Okay. Let me know when you're ready. Here's the address. Do you want me to text you over this address? You want me to tell you verbally?
Uh, whoa. So just text it to me because we're on live.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Um,
Yeah, we can reach out to him right now if you want to as well. This guy, I'm at the phase where 12,000. I mean 15,000. What he wants, I don't know if it's workable. We could try to novate it. I mean,
no,
we could
honestly,
possibly try that.
no. So
No.
here's what I would recommend, and you probably already know this at this point, but the thing is, right, like, and I'm not just speaking to you, right, because we're speaking to the YouTube audience as well, but like the time, energy, and effort on every deal, whether it's a $200 deal or a $200,000 deal, is virtually identical, right? And so when you're, weighing out like what are you going to spend your time focusing on, like we've gotten to a point where we basically have cut off like whole markets. Like we won't even market in Birmingham, Alabama. I've moved a ton of deals in Birmingham, Alabama, but the average deal is like, $3,500, $4,000. Like that, the amount of time, energy, and effort to get that deal and go through the process, I could get two or three deals in Indianapolis and make an average of like $17,000 per deal. So why am I going to spend the same time, energy, and effort in Alabama when I can just do deals in Indianapolis and make, basically five times the money? You know what I mean? So the,
100%.
I would just I'd be like, yo, bro, we're gonna be less than what you bought it for.
Right.
Good luck.
Right. I sent you the address. If you wanna look at it and try to give him something, try to like say like maybe, I mean, I don't know if it's worth even to look at.
I'll
I
take.
don't
I
know
mean,
what
I'll
you
look at it.
think. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'll look at it while
yeah.
we're on the phone. And then while we're waiting for what's his name to text us back. Let's see here.
Yeah, he said somewhere around 6:30 and 7:30 when he would be available. I mean, 6:30 to 6:45. So 6:45. It's 6:45 now, not 7:30.
Yeah,
So we should probably ring him again right now. You want to ring him again since it's 6:45?
yeah. Give me 1 second here.
Or
So this guy bought this lot 2 years ago for 12 grand. Um, pending sale. Yeah, that $385,000 sale back in 2010 had to be part of a bigger swath. I wouldn't be surprised if that whole like section was subdivided out and it was like a much
right.
bigger plot. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, either that or as part of like a portfolio. All right, yeah, let me try to loop him in again.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 7.
Um, okay, so at this point, I would probably, oh, damn.
Okay.
What's that?
Hello?
Hello?
We got disconnected.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, he didn't
Can you
answer.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, he didn't answer. I would say, we should probably
My
just
God.
wait for him to hit you back. Because if we just keep blowing him up, then, um, that could be a turn off. You know what I mean?
100%.
So, um, yeah, let's see what happens with him. Just just text me whenever he gets back to you. And then, I mean, I'll be able to take calls
Okay.
here if he calls back in. And then, if he does call back
Okay.
in, then we just wrap it up, and I'll just loop you a call. But if he texts you, then,
For
just shoot
sure.
me a
I'll be
text and let me
I'll
know.
be praying, man. You reaching back out for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I don't know why he's doing this. This is very out of him. I didn't really feel this out of him, but to the very last minute, I got
Yeah.
you. Okay. Yes,
Yeah. He
sir.
could just be
Well,
busy, man. I
I'll
mean, like if
look
he
out
works
for
for
the text and I'll
Distribution
keep you
Center,
updated.
yeah, you're really choppy right now. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if he works at
Hey,
a
I think
distribution
it's from you
center,
being alive.
what's up?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if he works for a distribution center, then, like now we're kind of coming into the time of year when things are crazy for distribution centers because they're just,
Right.
and I don't know what kind of distribution center, if he's at Amazon or, what other type of shipping distribution center. But, coming into the holiday season where things get crazier, so he could legitimately just be busy and, be working overtime type of stuff. But it seems like he's texting you when you get it. So as soon as he texts you, just hit me up and then we'll pop on with him and get it wrapped up.
Okay, we might need to put a little bit of urgency on him too, because I mean, he seems like he's just like kicking the ball down the road now. Because when he can fluctuate the numbers and everything, probably should have put a little bit of urgency on it to get him to do this to. But yeah, I'm definitely tracking with everything you're saying for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but once we get on the phone with him, like we can apply pressure on the call. I wouldn't recommend trying to apply much pressure to him via text at this point, though.
Sure.
So,
All right. Yes,
but
sir. I'll keep you posted.
okay. Sounds good, man. We'll talk soon. All right. See you.
All right. I'll talk. Yes, sir.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Let's make some other dials here. Um, let's see here. Alexa, play 70s rock. All right. Let's keep this. Okay. All right, let's call Rhonda.
Hi, this is Rhonda. I'm either driving or charging my phone. Please leave me a message and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hello.
Rhonda. Rhonda, you there?
Yeah, you there?
Hey, it's Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Did I catch you at a bad time? I was trying to leave a voicemail and then just got cut off there, so I don't know what's going on, but
Oh, no, I'm just bringing the eggs in from the chickens.
oh, nice. How many chickens you got?
18?
Holy smokes. That's a lot of eggs you get, huh?
Well, yeah, about 6 a day. They're old. Some of them are old.
Okay. All right. All right. Nice. That's not too bad. Free eggs for life.
Yeah, they're like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then you get chicken breast, right? So nice. Awesome. Well, I got your text from the end of the day yesterday and wanted to reconnect with you, had some time. Um, and just wanted to kind of see exactly. I know the last time we spoke, you guys were going to talk it over and see, if you guys were, rock solid at that number. I know you wanted to be at like 615, right?
Yep.
Okay, got it. All right. So, I mean, if I could get them like pretty close to that, I mean, do you think we could make this work?
Well, that's kind of my rock bottom price.
Oh, okay, got it. So if they came in and they're like, yeah, we can't do $1 over 612, like we're not even worth getting on the phone, or
I I really need the 615 because I really want 625, but
I gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. And well, I mean, I'll go to bat for you and see if I can get them up there to that number. And just to confirm, the last time when we spoke, you said you could use some extra time. So basically, you would need about 60 days to find a new place, and then about 30 to 60 days for you guys to be able to close on that new place. Is that correct?
that sounds about right. Yep.
Okay. Okay, got it. Um, all right. So if we could basically schedule it so that, we close, basically that's like 120 days. So on or before 120 days. So if you guys find something sooner and, we're able to move it up, then we
Yep.
can, but at least we have that flexibility for you. So you guys have the time necessary to find what you need. Um, that would work for you.
That would work for me very much so.
Okay. All right. Got it. And then, you know, one of the things, obviously I had mentioned before that coming up that much is a little bit difficult. Sometimes there's some levers that we can pull to try to, make it make sense, because we can't just like make up a number. But sometimes there's things that kind of help us to kind of like cut costs in certain areas. So I
Hmm.
was curious, like one thing that we've done in the past is, we've had sellers where they were already starting to do, or they were planning to do some renovations and maybe had some materials that they purchased for some stuff that they just never got around to actually installing. Is there any situation like that going on here where you guys have any materials for updates that?
No, but I was getting ready to redo my living room carpet. I'm ripping the
Okay.
carpet up and putting in hardwood flooring.
Oh, okay. Is there hardwood flooring underneath it?
No, it's concrete.
Oh, okay, got it. So you're gonna put hardwood, or you put hardwood, or like the luxury
It's gonna
vinyl
be like
plank
the
stuff.
LV yeah, that luxury vinyl plank
Oh,
LVP
okay.
stuff.
Nice, nice. Okay. All right,
It's
got it.
cheaper.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, definitely a lot cheaper than hardwood, especially when you're going on concrete. Like I've seen, there's because you got to do all the prep and stuff, and man, it's
Right.
like a nightmare. Okay, got it. And then one of the things that we can sometimes do, the thing that basically increase our costs aside from just the purchase of the property and the renovation is holding costs, right? So like as much as we buy homes cash, we have investors and finance partners that, provide the funds, and they're of course looking to get a return. So the longer we have to hold a property, the more that drives up the cost, right? So if so one of the things that we can sometimes do to kind of shave off those costs is pre-market the property, like while what we've done is we've gotten in contract with a seller, we've done some pre-marketing, kind of like a coming soon on the MLS, and
Right.
try to work towards finding our ultimate end buyer before we even get to the closing table. Is that
Okay.
something, it's not like we're doing like big open houses and stuff like that, but we might get somebody in who expresses interest and kind of show them the house. And then the other thing that helps us with our costs is like we had a situation where we flipped the house, all new carpet throughout the house. Is probably 3,500 square feet, so it's probably about $12,000 worth of carpet. Literally the day after closing, they ripped out all the carpet and put in brand new LVP, and
Yeah.
obviously spent a bunch of money there. So one of the things that the pre-marketing also helps us to do is kind of help with buyers saying, hey, you know what, I really like this paint color for the kitchen, or I want, this type of flooring throughout the house. And it helps us kind of save costs so that we can actually, maneuver the offer around to make it make sense, and we can pass along those savings to you. Um,
Yeah.
is that something that you guys could be flexible with if we can, possibly just bring in some buyers to see it while we're in escrow getting towards the closing?
Okay, first, we will cross that bridge when we get to it, if we get to it, and yes, it's possible, but I guarantee nobody wants this carpet in here. It's 25 years old.
Yeah, no, I get that.
guarantee.
I get that, right? We wouldn't be leaving the carpet. We just wouldn't, we can't do renovations until you guys are out anyway. But
Oh, right.
if we identify like a buyer, and they see it as is, and they're like, "Hey, I know you were thinking about doing gray flooring, but I really like brown flooring. Can you put brown flooring in for me when once
Oh,
you
I got
flip it?" And then
Yeah.
that way we don't have to pay for flooring that they're not going to want and they're going to rip out and redo anyway. And then it usually helps us save costs. And then it also streamlines the process, because if we wait 120 days to start marketing the property, then it could take a lot longer for that end buyer to close. And then our holding costs could be higher. But if we, let's say over the next, 2-3 months, we find a buyer, then literally the day we close, we rip out whatever we're going to rip out, do the renovations, and then we could possibly have that buyer closed within a couple weeks to 30 days.
Right. Oh, I get it. I totally. In fact, I can even leave it a blank slate. I could rip the carpet out and just leave it concrete. I've got enough throw rugs.
Okay. Yeah.
I
So
mean, I'm not opposed to doing that because.
Got it. Okay. Well, I won't tell you to do that just yet. Once we get in there and just,
we'll cross that bridge if we get to that point.
yeah, if we get to that point, I'm just trying to think of ways that I could justify to them and really go to bat for this to, justify them coming up in the number and really getting us up to that number.
Sure.
So,
But I guarantee you, if you flew a drone over this place, you'll say it's worth every penny, if not more than 700.
yeah. Okay. All right. Got it. So if I could get them to that 615, could we get this written up today?
What?
No, I mean, we're not gonna sign no papers today.
Well, you can write it up.
Well, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you mean we're not going to sign any papers today?
We're not. We're not gonna, I mean, we can't sign any papers.
Why? We're getting 60 days to find a place to live
Do what you want.
and 30 to 60 days to move. And so here's just a scenario. In the event we don't find a place to buy,
Mm-hmm.
then what happens?
Yeah. So, obviously we'll all work together to try to help as much as possible, but we would basically put in the terms that, it would be a contingent sale. So it'd be contingent on you finding suitable housing.
Yes. Because the place that we're looking is, 425, 450 miles away. It's not just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah. It's not like you just, swing over there after swimming classes. It's like, hey, we're going to look at this house,
I have to find somebody to come and house sit. I take care of my animals, and
Yeah.
it's a 3-day ordeal. It's a day out there, a day to look, and a day to come back.
Yeah, totally. It's a whole thing. So,
Yeah, as long as it's written as a contingency, that would be fine.
okay. All right. Got it. So I'm going to go back to them. I'm going to go to battle on this and try to get them all the way up to that 615. And then if we can do that, we would do everything through, it's kind of like a DocuSign. It's called Panda Doc, where it would come to your email and we would review the agreement together, line by line. So everything's very clear. There's no questions. And if there are any questions, you'll get those answered right with me. But if we can get that, then we can move forward and get this signed up today.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Let me, give me just a couple minutes. I'm going to put you on a brief hold. I'm going to run back there. I'm going to talk to them, let them know everything that's going on here, and pray for me. So.
I mean, you can call me back if you want. I'll carry my phone on me. I don't normally take my phone outside with me.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it. Yeah. Just give me a couple minutes. I'd say like 3 to 5 minutes. And then, if it takes a little bit long, I'll call you definitely within the next 20 minutes for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rhonda. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, guys. So that is potentially going to be a good deal here, right? So if you guys didn't hear that call on the live, I think it was live last week on a Thursday, I believe it was, that I talked to her. We started out with an offer at 576, which was a little, our MAO cash offer range was 580 to 600. And so I came in just a little under that, because I wanted to have that wiggle room. She originally said, they were wanting around 600. Then, we followed up with her. Then she wanted 615, which, is actually, whoa. So 615, our MAO for a Novation is actually like 618. So we think we could list this for 720 right now. Now here's why this is really, really advantageous, because that's right now. We're October 15th, right? So if we do this as she's looking for 60 days plus another 30 to 60 days for them to close on the other house, we're basically going to do a 120-day close of escrow, right? Which now, when you factor in um, the fact that that's business days, right? That actually gives us a freaking massive amount of time. So if we go business day calculator, we go today, 120 days. That's April 11th, right? So now we're going in, and this is Southern California. So we would be going into the spring season with this listing, and, interest rates come down, election happens, all that kind of settles out, then I think there's a really, really strong chance that this thing goes up above that 720, because that's going right into the season when the values start popping back up again. Everything. So the way Southern California works, and specifically San Diego, I know this isn't in San Diego, but I'll just kind of give you guys this trend and why this is important to know. And if you don't know this about the markets that you're doing business in, it's really, really helpful to understand this, because it might play a part in how you're evaluating properties. So as you go into the slow season in San Diego in the winter months, any decrease in property values that hit over the course of the year, San Diego gains it all back plus some Q1 of the next year. So by the end of Q1, you can expect it to be at and above where it was prior to any type of decrease. Now, this one is not in San Diego, it's in Valley Center. But again, Southern California, kind of similar markets. It's not a city out there, but that's just kind of the trend of the California market spaces out here. So I think we're going to be in a really good position to get this thing across the finish line over a 700 number. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to draft up this agreement now so we can be all ready to go. Now, fortunately, it's just her on the title. The husband was definitely given resistance about signing today. But you could tell, like, there's definitely a disconnect there, because she's like, why not? If we're getting what we want, we're getting what we want, and we're getting all the time that we need to do it. Like, why would we not sign? So I think we're going to be in a good spot. So let me get this all. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is Riverside County. Let's see here. Oh, it's actually technically San Diego County. I didn't realize Valley Center was San Diego County. Dang, San Diego County is massive. All right, so the other thing that hopefully you guys noticed was, we're talking about coming up from 576 all the way up to 615 is basically a $40,000 price increase. You know, normally I would never come up that much, not in one shot, but, and I tested this, right? Basically, um, with basically asking her like, hey, I mean, if they come back at, they can't pay a penny over 612, like, are we dead in the water? Should I not even bother calling back? Like, what, what's going on? And she's like, no, that's where I want to be. Actually, I want to be 625, but I'm willing to take 615. So, let me just double check. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so All right, if you guys are just joining, we are in the process of writing up this purchase agreement and novation and indemnification agreement. Okay, almost got this all wrapped up here. Okay, so I think we got everything. So what I'm doing here, guys, in the contract is I'm actually writing in So essentially, it just states this agreement is contingent on the seller finding suitable replacement housing during the period described in Section 4. In the event the seller has not found suitable housing during this period, the parties agree to extend the agreement by a term not to exceed 60 business days. So that way, if she doesn't find suitable housing in 120 days, boom, we get an automatic extension, 60 business days, and then we keep it moving. All right, let's see. So I think I got everything all wrapped up here. Okay. Chill out. All right, so let's see here. All right, so it looks like our other guy is ready for this call to wrap up this other Novation deal. Let's see here. All right, let me call him.
Hey, Chris, I just checked my phone. He texted me at 7:07 saying he had some time, and he just replied back saying give him a ring.
All right, so I'm gonna call him right now. Give me a second. All right, let's get this freaking wrapped up because I'm about to call this other seller and wrap up another agreement too. So let's get 3 in 20 minutes.
Let's do it, man. We got this.
All right, let's see here. Where the heck is my thing at? Okay, here we go.
This is Carl.
Hey, Carl, it's Chris. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, good. Actually, I have Aaron on the line as well. Aaron, you there?
Yeah, sorry
Hey,
for the
Carl.
delay.
No, you're all good, man.
Hey.
You got
Yeah.
a job like the rest of normal America, right? So, it's like we all got our obligations, man. Totally get it. No big deal.
Always crazy.
Yeah, so cool, man. So yeah, so I guess so I know a couple things is just figuring out, if you needed to shuffle anything or if you just wanted to do an amendment after the fact, like as we get closer, or you're going to figure it out, on the back end.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit more,
Mhm.
and we really do feel that the homes would bring over the 400 mark if we put them on the market.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably going to be the route we're going to try, just to try to get as much money as we can, because even by doing that, I think we'll still land somewhere around the 370 to 380 range for each property. So I appreciate the offer. It's hard to if there was a cash offer that was closer to those numbers, I think we would probably be more entailed to do that. But I think we just need to try to get as much as we can for both of them.
Got it. Okay. Just to be clear, right, you're saying you would list them for about 400 or a little over four?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Probably 410. Probably just under what they appraised for, so we at least have that leverage. And I just the numbers are still a little bit far off, and the cash offer. I know the cash offer was I can't remember what it was. It was like 300,000. If it was closer to the what we would get after realtor fees and all that at like the 375 range, we'd probably be interested, but I think we're just a little too far off there.
I gotcha. Well, okay, so let's just look at each one individually, right? So 1768 and 1764. You were saying which one were you saying appraised at what, 420?
1768,
1768, and the other one appraised at 410 or 415?
415.
Okay, got it. And the appraisal that you were getting, was that for like a refinance or what, like what was it for?
It was just a private company to come in and do the appraisal.
Okay,
I didn't do it for any specific reason. He gave a non-biased, I guess, appraisal, not based on any location, and that's what I mentioned too. He's saying even with the location, he doesn't appraise by area or location, or he just appraises strictly off the acreage and the actual home. So it could be some people may value it more than that, but he gave just a very non-biased appraisal.
got it. Okay, and some people might value it less, right?
Oh, possibly, yeah, quite possibly, no doubt.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So just to kind of give you a little bit of insight, my mother was a real estate agent for 14 years, and then she started her own appraisal business. And so very, very familiar with the process that an appraiser goes through. And, the interesting thing is if you call an appraiser, usually they're going to ask you like, oh, what are you looking for? If you're going for like a refinance versus just selling the house, those two numbers will be different. They'll give you a different number based on what you're actually getting the appraisal for. And you might be thinking to yourself, huh, why would they do that? Right. And so basically, like when you're getting like a refinance, a lot of the time they'll is higher because they're just trying to help you out get the refinance, right? Whereas selling it,
Yeah.
it's just a different process that they're looking at. But at the end of the day, you could call a dozen appraisers and they could all come in with a different valuation. And, the number one thing in real estate is, and you've heard this term before, location, location, location. So when somebody is appraising a property, like they really need to be considering location, right? Because that's the number one most important thing in real estate is location trumps out pretty much everything else. If you have like a mansion versus like a small shack, right? Like the location of the small shack isn't going to trump the mansion necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, so there's obviously differences there, but all things considered, location is a really important part of the underwriting process and determining value, right? So, you know, we're really not that far off. I mean, if you were going to list the 1768, where do you think you would list it at?
Probably the 420s, maybe 415, just to come in under the appraisal.
Okay. So 415, right? And obviously you had mentioned to Aaron that, I think probably needs somewhere in the neighborhood of like 60, $70,000 worth of work, for the house, right? Um, so I mean, if you're looking at a 415 list price after everything considered, realtor commissions, closing costs, concessions, and all of that, again, you're only netting 373, right? So
Yeah, see, I was using more closer to 6% overall, with paying the realtor and the closing costs.
Well, but you're going to have
So yeah, maybe
6%.
my figures are off a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to have 6% just for the realtors though, right? Like the
For the sale,
oh yeah, for the sale. So
I think we anticipate doing a little bit less,
okay,
thinking more like 4%,
how do you figure that?
because that's just kind of the negotiation with the realtors now. Like, you don't have to pay both parties um,
Well, see that, and that
with the laws that's changed now. I know they end up getting paid either way, but they'll find a way to get paid. But I think the agreement with our realtor is 4%
got it.
is what it would be.
Okay. Well, okay. So, and here's
But either way, like, yeah, even if it was 6%, and then plus closing, I think we're closer to like 390, like 380 to 390 is what I keep coming up with.
well, but you're only factoring commissions and closing costs, right? There's more to selling a house than just commissions and closing costs. You have buyer requests for repair, and especially on a property or properties that need a significant amount of repair, and where you may have somebody coming in with an FHA loan or a VA loan, there's a significant likelihood that they're going to come in and require you to get something done, right? Like, perfect example is that Joshua Tree property. We had a buyer locked in on that, and the lender was going to kill the deal if we didn't replace the roof, which was about $16,000, and replace the septic system, which was another $12,000 to $15,000, right? Those were required for the lender to fund the deal, and so we had to do that.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I think we do figure we may get some of that. I I would suspect it's probably gonna be more of a cash offer, being that it does need the repairs.
mhm.
Um, but you're right, it could go into something similar to that. But that's kind of
Yeah,
why I was leaving it at the lower end, because if we feel that it was fixed up, maybe we would say a little bit higher than that. But
mhm.
I I would think that 410 would be pretty fair. I think, for knowing that it probably only needs 60 grand renovation to get it up to a $500,000 sale price.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying you're wrong about that. What I'm just trying to help you understand though is that the fees, as much as, right, the whole NAR settlement, just so like, and this is the biggest challenge in the industry right now, right? Because there's a lot of misinformation on the consumer side. You know, that's
Yeah,
not a law change. There was no law that was changed whatsoever. The only impact that that NAR settlement has is with agents that are licensed and under the National Association of Realtors. That's only about 30 to 40% of all real estate agents nationally. The rest of all real estate agents are not subject to any of those terms and conditions of the NAR, right? So it's
yeah,
literally it's like yeah, you could play baseball, but are you in the MLB, right? The MLB has its own specific rules, but if you play for a different league, right, you're subject to different rules, right? And the other thing is, if you try to go and do lower commissions, the problem is, put yourself in the shoes of an agent, right? So let's say you were going to negotiate your agent down to 4%. What would you want to pay your agent? How much of that 4% would you want to pay your agent, the listing agent?
yeah. I mean, I would think, if they, I don't know if, like, I know the other agent would come in and try to get paid in either way, so it would either happen in the sale price, or they would negotiate that in some fashion. So, but I would think probably two and two.
Two and two.
Maybe that doesn't entice any. Yeah, maybe that
Yeah.
doesn't entice either one of them. But
Yeah. I mean,
if it's two
so
properties that should be easy to sell together, hopefully, maybe it does help them out there, where they may get, two sales for one potentially, because that's really what we're looking to do at the end anyway.
yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, look, I mean, again, we're not really that far off. I mean, we're certainly not going to be able to get you up to like a 390. And the reality is, based off of like all the underwriting, the comps, the cost to sell, even if you got an offer at 415, you're not going to net 390. you're going to be closer to
Yeah.
370 because there is going to be requests for repairs, concessions, interest rate buy downs. 9 out of 10 of the properties that are selling right now, if somebody's coming with a loan, they're looking for an interest rate buy down because they don't want to be paying 6.5% on the interest. So it's usually $3,000 to $5,000 to buy down that interest rate for the next 3 years. They're usually doing like a 3-2-1 buy down, where this year it's 2% lower than the standard rate. Next year it's 1% lower. And then the following year it goes to the normal rate. And then they hope that they can refinance the house in a couple of years and interest rates have come down. So that's where sellers are often paying a lot of those fees. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
And I know we're probably a little too hopeful in all this, but that's where I kind of hope that it ends up being a cash offer where it's somebody that, hey, they're going to buy it and fix it up and either stay there or buy it and fix it up to sell it.
well,
However
I
they
can,
want to do it, but I'm hoping it
yeah,
goes.
I can tell you with 1,000% certainty and no uncertain terms, are you going to get a flipper that's going to come in with a cash offer at 410, 415, 420? It's absolutely like shelf that idea right now because the reality is we're all the same, right? Flippers are all the same. We have access to the same financing terms, right? The same bankers, the
Yeah,
same
that's true.
fun, so the
Yeah, that's true. It's
only
probably going to be somebody that would want to live there.
Exactly. And somebody that's going to want to live there, they're going to be staring down the barrel of 6.5% interest rate, right? And, if they're a first-time home buyer or VA, they're coming with the reason they're FHA or their VA is because they generally don't have money set aside, right? And what little money they do have set aside is going to be set aside for the down payment and some minor repairs. They're going to come in asking for reductions. And then somebody who's coming in conventional, they're already going to be bringing a sizable chunk for the 10 to 20% that they need to bring down for the conventional loan. So, like, I trust me, man, I've had hundreds and hundreds of these conversations. I know exactly what the feeling is like. Oh, what if we could squeeze a little bit more, squeeze a little bit more? I can't tell you how many times like we've parted ways with somebody and, turns around, we follow up with them and they end up taking a deal that ends up netting them less than what they were going to get with us just because they weren't in a solid position. It needed work, you know.
Yeah, and that is a fear. Believe me, I've got a million things go through my head, and that is one of our
Yeah.
biggest fears, obviously. And hopefully that if this doesn't come to fruition, that you guys may still be open to going that route. But yeah, it's just to
Well,
go from 60
yeah,
grand, like it's really like 670. It's really 70 grand less than what we would be asking, uh, what we'd be close to be asking. And even if realtor fees were 25,000 at 6%, um, we're still pretty far off there. And we're still like, geez, 40 something grand difference there. And that times two, 80 grand. I just can't afford to take that type of hit.
yeah, I
With
gotcha.
what I still have to make sure happens. And I do appreciate the thought and all that. And maybe honestly, maybe it's not the final offer, but that's just kind of the way that I took it. I know you
Mhm.
guys got to make money in the deal too, and
Yeah,
I just wanted to kind of just let it out so everybody
yeah,
kind of knows where we stand. And
I gotcha.
I don't want you guys wasting more time than you really want to.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate the transparency, right? Like you could have just like not, you know, not returned calls and, just ghosted us, right? And so I definitely appreciate you,
Yeah.
communicating and working with us, right? And like and our whole goal here is, nobody's getting rich off of these properties, yourself, us, like really nobody's getting rich off of it, right? What we're just trying to do is come up with a number that makes sense for everybody, where everybody can get it across the finish line, do what needs to be done, and make it as reasonable and as quick and painless as possible for everybody. So I mean, with that being said, I mean, like obviously you have a number in mind if you're going to list it, and we're at a number. Like where is your rock bottom on this? Where do you need to be really to make this make sense?
You know, my thought would be, it would be hard to entertain anything under the 375 mark, just based with realtor fees, and then potential, you know, somebody making a lower offer, or you know, saying that they want this done before they sell. You know, we're really going to try to sell them as is, so it's like, you know, firm price as is. But it'd be hard to entertain anything less than the 375 for each one.
375.
The reason I kind of discounted that is because I was thinking more like a cash offer at 375, which I know that we're probably a couple $100,000 away from that number from the cash offer that was offered originally. So that's why I just kind of discounted even the thought of it.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Oh man. Yeah, you know, sorry, I'm just looping Aaron back and he got disconnected here.
Hello?
Yeah, Aaron?
Hello?
You there? Aaron, you there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, 375, you know, as much as like, I mean, I know you talked about, you know, trying to get an agent to take a reduced commission, right? You know, let me just offer you this position, because most people would argue, sorry, I think I dialed the wrong number.
Yeah, it didn't sound like him.
Yeah. Sorry, give me 1 second. I thought that was his. Give me 1 second. Let me just loop him in. I don't know why my phone keeps on cutting him out.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
Hello?
Aaron, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps cutting you off. So yeah, I mean, you know, most people would argue, obviously, like, you know, a home is generally people's largest asset, right? And the thing, you know, there's some agents out there that might take a reduced commission, but I always think through the lens of, you know, if an agent isn't able to justify to me why they're worth all of the 6%, then when they're sitting across the table from another agent who is a stud negotiator and is doing everything in their power to get their buyer the best price possible, are they going to be the one that is suited to negotiate the highest price for my largest asset? Right? And am I willing to risk, you know, my family's financial, you know, well-being with somebody that can't even justify the 6%, right? And the other thing is, like, the buyer's agents that are out there, you know, they're going to be looking, if there's two properties that are similar and one is offering 3% commission versus 2% commission, like, as much as it's technically unethical and they're not supposed to do it, you absolutely have agents that are steering people towards the ones that they're going to get paid more on, right? And so I
think you're totally right. And I probably wouldn't try to lose the sale over $8,000 anyways. The 2% is really only about $8,300. So I probably wouldn't I wouldn't discount it if the agent wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
We do have some that are friends, whether they give a friend discount or not, who knows even about that. But even just assuming that it was the 6%, the full amount, plus, it's hard too because there's just not that many properties with acreage around there.
Yeah.
Even when you look at the comps, they're just far and few between.
Yeah.
That's what makes it seem even a little more difficult that it wouldn't sell or an agent wouldn't take it, especially if we know the agent and could sell 2 properties at one time. It's not out of the question. I'm definitely going to try. She may say no, but I think I got to try. But
well, I mean, I don't know that I could get you, to 375 on both of these properties, but there's got to be a number between where we're at and where you're hoping to be that we can come to something that makes sense, where it gives you the peace of mind knowing that, like, hey, this is just a done deal. You don't have to worry about all the issues that come up, and just take it off your plate so you can focus on the more important things. You know what I mean? Like how close do you think you guys can get to our number?
I mean, right now we're off 50 grand.
Well, that's what you're saying. I don't think we're that far apart, right? Because again, if you list 1768 for 420, do you have a piece of paper?
Sure.
Okay. I just want to kind of like walk through this with you because I think sometimes just visualizing it, helps a lot more. So what I want you to do is at the top of the piece of paper, just write 415. And then right under that, 6% is basically $25,000. Okay. Yep. So now at 415, we're down to 390. Okay. Generally, closing costs are about 1.5%. So 415 times 0.015 is about $6,000 total. So you're basically looking at, call it 30 grand total between the commissions and the closing costs, right? So now we're at, what's that, 385?
Yeah.
And then if you get, again, a flipper, like one of the comps that sold that had some acreage, the buyer for that property is a builder. It's Kingdom Builders. They bought that and they actually tore that house down on the 5 acres and they're building 2 homes. And it's for him to live in and his mother to live in, right? So that's like
what they're doing with the property behind this one.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a unicorn buyer, right? Like you're not really getting somebody that, there's not many builders that are going to buy a property, demolish it and live in it, right? When they build it, usually they're looking to sell it. So, but we're now at 385. You get the buyer that needs the interest rate buy down and you're talking another $5,000 off of that for the buy down. So now you're at 380. If they do any type of request for repairs, right? I know you said this needs about, $60,000 worth of work. Doesn't like the shop on the back need a new roof?
Yeah. But see that's where we're gonna make sure that people know that it's as is, because I mean, people can say, well, hey, this thing needs new flooring, this thing needs, a paint job, or this thing needs this and that. I mean, people could do that all day long, and I just don't know that we're going to entertain many of those because we are going to try to sell it as is.
Well, yeah, and that's fine, but right, like that there's the fallacy in that is you're not wrong about that, right? Sure, you could be like, well, it's as is, right? And they could be like,
yeah,
cool.
You may not get anybody that bites on it though.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like I could go on eBay and I can list, this crappy Bic pencil or pen for $1 million. Right. Like, and I could say, yeah, I'm selling it for $1 million. And people are like, oh, you're selling it for $1 million? That's pretty cool. Like, but have I sold it for $1 million, right? Like they'll go down the street, buy it for $1, so that's the challenge, right? And, and I can tell you, like, the problem is with this process, and you had mentioned this, and I just want to make sure you understand, is if you go down the path of listing it and then trying to market it and it doesn't sell, where would be the benefit for us coming in and saying, okay, well, now we can come in and still do what we were saying, right? Because effectively what has happened is you went out, listed it high, and it went through reductions because you're probably going to end up getting price reductions. And then it's like, well, is the market, was our underwriting on point? Like nobody's really biting
Yeah,
on
no,
this.
that
It's
makes
been
sense.
out there, right? Um,
Yeah, it makes sense.
and listed properties, we have a saying in this industry, listed properties are like fish. The longer they sit and the longer they're listed, the more they stink. So
Yeah.
that's the challenge with, timing the market and figuring out the best way. But like, again, we're not really that far off when it's all said and done. So, I mean, I know you want to be at like 375. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to get them to come all the way up to 375 on this.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be
And
able
that
to.
and that makes sense. I mean, I totally get it. And I know I, I just got to make sure that I'm weighing the options, and it feels like the option of us listing it is going to yield us closer to the number that we need to have for it. That's just really all I have in front of me, really, to make a decision on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm totally open to hear any offers, but it's going to be real hard to even entertain anything under the 375 mark, because that's where I truly feel that I think we can land if we don't even list it higher. Because it's somebody we may list it higher. Yeah, you run the risk of not getting any hits on it, but you may get somebody that's looking for property and makes a lower offer, but still comes in at the 425 mark. And then, hey, even after we do all that, maybe there's, you yield 390 out of the property. I just don't want to, eliminate all those opportunities either.
Yeah.
And that's really the only two, in my mind, the only two options that I have just on paper is getting 375 or more, listing it with an agent and doing those, or the 350. And then that's the difference too. The 350 wasn't really a cash offer. I think the cash offer was like 300 or less. That's where I just got, so disconnected, I guess, on the price. It just was, we were 50 grand off of where I think we should at least minimally land.
I
And
got
it's still
you.
hard for me to come off of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I totally understand, man. And you're just trying to do what's best for your family, and I respect that. And
Yeah, and if you talk to the underwriters and they end up making a different decision, or they want to, like I said, I'm never, even when we listed on the thing, I'm never going to turn down looking at an offer, because at the end of the day, they've got to go. They don't have to go today. I prefer them to go today, but
yeah.
they don't have to go. I mean, we can sit on them as long as we have to. I just, like you said, the longer they sit, the more they smell. That's probably a true statement in both regards. But I just I just got to do what's best, man.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Well, I mean, there's got to be some level of flexibility, right? Because, obviously they appraise at different values. So, I mean, you can't expect to get both of them at 375. I mean, like, where do we need to be rock bottom on each of them to make it make sense?
At right now, I was at the 375, because I do think that the 1768, even though they're coming in very close on the appraisal, it does have, it's a ranch style home. It has a larger detached garage, like almost 4-car garage you can fit in there. It's got a larger patio. It's more acreage, a little more secluded. So, I do think that one's going to probably sell even easier. and we may even list that one a little bit higher. So that's where I was coming in at the 375. It was the bottom for both, for each one, because, you know, even if one only sells for 375, the other one, or one only yields us 375, the other one may yield us more than that, just because of the bigger property, bigger house, ranch
I
style,
gotcha.
and
Okay. All right. Well, look, let me do this. I'm gonna put you on a brief hold. I'm gonna run back to the underwriters and kind of tell them where we're at. You know, because obviously I know, you know, we put this through a lot of scrutiny, and I want to make sure that, you know, we're giving this, you know, our best go at it. Um, I mean, if you know, I'll go to bat and try to get you to the 375 on each of them. But if they, you know, if they come back and they're like, we can't do more than 373.5, like, is it worth even getting back on the phone with you?
like I said, I'll never turn down an offer. I'll definitely contemplate it, you know, make sure it's going to work. I mean, you're talking about a couple $1,000 different ways here.
Yeah.
That's where it gets real tough, you know. It's like on either side, it's like why would we squander over a few $1,000 either
Jump
side,
over
really?
dollars to
But
pick up nickels. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So,
Um,
but I think at this point, like I was saying, my bottom was 375 for both. Um, and if they come in under that, then it's going to be, yeah, I'll listen to it, and I'll have to think about it, you know, and kind of weigh it out.
okay. So what I'm hearing is if we can do the 375 on both of them, then you'll move forward with those today. We can get this wrapped
I
up
would,
right
I
now.
would, I would think if they come back with 375 on the cash offer deal, um, yeah, I think we would definitely be open to making a decision tonight.
Yeah, so just to be clear, right? Like the terms, right, where, you know, we're gonna market it out to, you know, our investor buyers and stuff like that, right? You know, because there's
But
no
that's
way.
not the straight cash offer. That's just doing the marketing it for the 60 days. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
and it's the same thing as getting you cash, right? The net number to you is the same, right? So there's no difference from a money in your pocket standpoint. It's just the process. Because a cash
Yeah.
offer, again, to get to a cash offer, like, I know Aaron said maybe 300. Really, the number was closer to 275. It's like, I might be able to get him up to 300, but
Yeah,
um,
and that's why I discounted it. That's why I didn't even think there would even be a cash offer opportunity at that point. So,
yeah, but
um,
based on, you know, like with all of the investors, like I said, you know, we have a lot of investors that we've done a lot of transactions with over the years, a lot of retail buyers that we've worked with, you know, over the last 24, 36 months in the area, you know, and so when we underwrite these, you know, we're pretty spot on with them, you know, to get them across the finish line and save, you know, the seller from having to hassle with anything. And then we shoulder any of those costs associated with selling the property, including repairs. Like I said, when we had to do the roof and the septic system, you know, all that stuff, that's not cash out of your pocket that you have to put into it to hopefully recoup. That's stuff that we take on, and we take on the burden of that through, you know, through the process. So, you know, it's literally as good as a cash offer. Um, you know, and it just allows us to get a higher number to get you across the finish line.
yeah, yeah, like I said, definitely be open to it.
Okay, so if we can do 375 on that, then we can get this wrapped up right now.
I mean, yeah, I would need to read through the document and make sure that it sounds right and all that, but I would be able to move forward. I think I would want a real estate attorney just to look at it and say that, hey, this deal sounds legit. Not that I don't distrust anything anybody's saying, but as long as they, you know, as long as it signs off, then yeah. But I don't want to just say, hey, I'll sign something tonight, not really knowing exactly what it all says. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's the exact agreement that we went through yesterday that we read through line by line.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
like I
it's
said,
just
I'd
a matter
definitely be
of
I'd definitely be open to that. I really wanted the cash offer, like we were talking about, but it sounds like it's not an option. But I'll definitely entertain the 375 for each property.
Got it. Okay. Who's your attorney?
Kenneth Madison.
Kenneth Madison. Okay. Do you have his email? I mean, we can send over the contracts directly to his email.
Yeah, he may not read them tonight, but he definitely would in the morning. Let me get it real quick.
Okay.
That's likely where we would close too, if that works for y'all.
So that's not my decision to make, right? The buyer usually selects the closing attorney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's in
But
any
yeah,
real estate
as long as
transaction.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, as long as he says it looks legit, then so it's K Madison, Mattison at ssmlaw.org.
Sorry, say that again.
ssmlaw.org. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's K Madison at ssmlaw.org.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Yeah, the name of the law firm is Stell Smith and Madison.
Got it. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm just curious because like I said, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of sellers and, like as we spoke yesterday, it seemed like we were pretty much rock solid and, it was just a matter of figuring out the numbers and everything. And, we reviewed the agreement with you. Everything seemed copacetic at the time. Like, what's the biggest change? Because like this is the first I'm hearing about. Like, oh, I need to make sure my attorney reads it, and blah blah blah. Like, I mean,
I just and I don't truly have an attorney. That's the one I would use. But I just think that it would make sense. You hear a lot of shady stuff where people pull the wool over your eyes and do it. I don't do this every day. I've only bought a house once. My entire life. So, well, I guess this is my second one, but I got to look out for two elderly people, and they're, I have a lot of responsibility as to what I'm doing here, and that's where it's not just if I'm making a decision for myself, I can make a very easy, quick decision. But if I'm making a decision for two people, I got to make sure it's the right one. You know what I mean?
For sure. And
yeah.
And the right one from what I'm hearing is for you to get, 375 for each of these, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So really like do you have your email open to pop open this agreement again, just so I can, because I think there's I get what you're.
I know. I just don't want to waste any more of your time or my time because I don't think the underwriter is going to agree. Because if they did, I think they probably would have gave the offer yesterday, and that's kind of where I was discounting it yesterday when we were minimum 50 grand off from where we were, and that's why I came into the conversation today a little bit different because I didn't think we were even going to be close. I didn't even think there was another potential offer to be made. I took that as a final offer.
Well, we're not 50 grand apart. We're basically 25 apart, right? Like look at them as two separate transactions, right? Because like, sure, it might seem like $50,000 if you're looking like at the bulk of it, right? But
I can do the math either way. Yeah.
Yeah. But the reason I'm saying that is because like when we do a renovation, right? Like if I have to look at something and I have to shave $50,000 off of one property, that's a lot harder to do than shaving
Yeah,
$25,000, right? So like
I feel you.
if we get one of our investor buyers or one of our buyers comes through and we can get them to say, okay, well, maybe we don't necessarily have to upgrade the kitchen to like the top of the line appliances and the top of the line granite. Maybe, like one thing we did on a property not too long ago is the property, it was a pretty large property, it was like 5,000 square feet, had like 25 windows, and one of our development arms was doing like a 300 unit development deal, and it was like like the timing was perfect on it, but basically they were doing a whole development and they had to order windows for all of those properties, all of those units, right? And so when we order that many windows, we get a sizable discount because it's a volume order. Right now, we
That makes
can't
sense.
just get that for every property, but the timing lined up perfectly where we were able to say, hey, you know what, we can add this window order to that big order, lump it all together, order it as one shot, and then apply that same discount. So we were able to shave some stuff off of there. We were able to shave, a little bit on, like our agent that's going to do some of the marketing. They're not just doing one property for us, right? Like if you hire an agent, the reason why they're getting 3% is because, the listing agent is because you're going to bring one house. In this case, maybe two, but like you're going to bring one house in most scenarios. But the agents that work with us, like we bring them dozens of houses over and over and over again. So they're willing to take a little bit of a reduced commission for us because of the fact they're going to make it up over the lifetime of the relationship, if not leaps and bounds above and beyond, right? So
Yeah, that makes sense. I see why you would split it, and I totally do apologize if I came across as that 350 was going to close the deal yesterday. Honestly, that was my first time getting an offer on this property, so I had to kind of do the math and try to see how how it would land. We haven't even talked to a listing agent to even get them listed, it was honestly my first time getting an offer, so I had to kind of think that through, and hopefully I didn't make you feel like, hey, it was a closed deal last night, and I think that's kind of why we need to talk through it, and I wanted to know our options and being able to move potential money from each property just to see if that was even an option. But I do apologize if I led you to believe that was a done deal. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize about it. Like I get it. I'm just trying to understand, figure out how we can get a deal done, put this to bed for everybody, where everybody walks away in a way that's happy. And, kind of what I'm hearing though is like, I know you feel like the underwriters probably won't even come up to 375, but on the flip side, even if they could, like, are you in a position to pull the trigger on that?
Oh yeah, like I said before, I wasn't ready to entertain anything under the 375. So if they can get to the 375, I'll definitely entertain it. Obviously I'd want more than that, but me telling you that 375 is a number, I know that's the number that they're going to try to get at, and I got to respect that because that's about where I think the bottom dollar I'll get if I list it. So I don't see any difference in either listing it and trying to get the 375 each property or doing it this way. As far as what you've explained to me so far, I don't see any big difference there except that there's a 60-day 60-day window on this deal, and if I list it on the market, it could close in 30 days, or it could close 6 months, or it could never close. So I'm taking all those into consideration, and I don't see why. I would feel more comfortable based on everything that we've talked about if both of them brought 375 and we could get them closed within 60 days. That's where I'm at, and that is my bottom. And
yeah. But well, I guess, and I hear what you're saying, but what it seems like is, even if I got the underwriters to come in and say, all right, look, we can get it up to the 375 on these, and we can set the close no later than 60 days. What it seems like is you still wouldn't be willing to pull the trigger on that. Am I wrong about that? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I can't sign something tonight over a phone without just making sure everything looks legit. I would prefer a lawyer just to see the agreement and read it because I'm not a lawyer. Like I said, it's my first time doing this type of thing. I would have to just make sure it's something that is normal and do due diligence for my two family members to make sure that it sounds legit before I pull the trigger, because it would be wrong for me to do that. And that's the only reason I'm saying that I couldn't just tell you right now, hey, you tell me that, I'm going to sign the paper, because I did walk through the paper with you, but did I fully understand it? No, not at this point. I just want somebody that is a professional that can be I guess an advocate for those two individuals. You know what I mean?
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like there's more to think about than really just the price. And the reality is, like, I know they put these through a lot of scrutiny to even get to the number they're at. For me to go back and try to get them to come up on the number, the first question that they're going to ask me is they're going to be like, well, you know how we do this, Chris? Like, I mean, if we came up on the number, is this guy ready to move forward at this point? And if I
Well,
come,
how about this then? Can I use the document that was sent last night? Can I have a lawyer look at that, tell us that that scenario, that whole thing sounds legit, like you're covered, and if that makes sense, then we can come back and discuss. You go back and talk to I'll let you know, hey, if that sounds right, we're good to go. If you can get it to this number, and then you go back to the underwriter, so you're not monkeying around with him, and just say, hey, this is what we got. He's already, he's 100%, already talked to everybody that he needs to talk to. He feels good about it. He would sign if we did this today. Would that be better than going to him today and then telling him, hey, we're going to talk to a lawyer tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to give me a lot more leverage to like go and beat down their door and try to.
I don't want to put you in a spot and us in a spot to kind of go back and forth. I'd rather feel real good about it. And my wife worked for this law firm 20 something years ago. It's been a long time, but she'll know somebody. I'm hoping she can get them on the phone in the morning, read through it. And I'll forward that to her now, and then that way we come back tomorrow and say, hey, if we can get to this number, then we'll do it, and we'll just see what they say. If they say that they can, then great. If not, then we'll part ways. And I appreciate all the work put in so far.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and just keep in mind, right? Like, and I think the big thing to differentiate with the attorney when you talk to them is that like, this isn't just a cash offer where we're just coming in buying the house, right? Because it would have to be a lot lower. The cash offer is still on the table, but it wouldn't be anywhere close to where you're looking to be. This is, we're going to take this out and we're going to market this to our select group of buyers that we've worked with in the past, some retail buyers, and market it out there so that we can bring that buyer, and then we're going to shoulder, all of the risk and the burden of, any renovation costs, any updates, things that have to be done, and, take care of all the closing costs, both sides of the closing costs, any concessions, any commissions that have to be paid out to anybody, title insurance, like all of that we're going to be shouldering that.
Makes sense. Definitely.
All right.
And, we'll have that conversation hopefully in the morning. I put you on speaker here the last couple of minutes, and my wife heard that. And
okay, perfect.
She'll be able to convey that.
Does your wife have a name, or should I just call her wife?
Her name is Beth.
Hi.
Beth, how you doing, Beth? I'm Chris.
I'm doing good, Chris. Thank you so
Good.
much for your help.
Yeah, no worries. Want to make sure you guys are all taken care of, and I'm just curious. Do you feel, Carl, like Aaron and myself have been pretty transparent through the process on exactly what would be happening, and nothing's been like.
I think so.
Okay.
I totally, not in any way do I feel like, there's a risk here, but I don't feel like there's I don't think I would be doing my due diligence if I didn't just make sure that the deal was on the up and up. Y'all know, and I don't feel that it's not. I just want to make sure, I've heard some horror stories, people will be like, oh yeah, I'll sign into this. And then all of a sudden, you don't know what happens. But I wish I was smarter when it comes to all this. I want to have somebody at least read over it, feel good about it, and I mean, we need to move the property. So, and
Yeah.
we appreciate it. I think at the end, I think you guys have come up closer to where we wanted to be. You know, definitely not there yet, but if they're willing to get there, then I don't see why we couldn't make a deal.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. And, we'll plan to, what you said you're going to talk to the attorney sometime in the morning.
Yeah, I'll reach out in the morning.
Okay. All right, perfect. Yeah, and I'm happy to get involved in the conversation too. Like if they have any questions for us and you want to loop us
good.
into the conversation, happy to hop on and discuss further. And like we've got I know there's a lot of guys out there that kind of give the industry a bad name, and they come in with just like wild low ball offers, guys watching, learning how to, get involved in real estate investing on YouTube videos and stuff like that, and don't really have a ton of experience and stuff. But, we've been in business for, since 2009. We've done hundreds of transactions all over the country. And so, definitely know what we're doing and can get this, if we say we can get it across the finish line, we know we can do it.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate the time you've invested so far, and that kind of proves that already. So I'll forward that email over from last night over to her now, and then she'll look at it first thing. And I won't hit you up too early, but hopefully they
no
get in the office around 8 or 9. So I'll just at least drop you a text, let you know where we're at.
No worries. Yeah, just shoot Aaron a text, and then he can kind of coordinate, because he'll be able to get a hold of me.
That makes sense. Yeah, the number I tried to respond to earlier, I guess it didn't go through, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, that's a landline, so it won't actually send a text. So
should have known. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
No worries.
We'll get back with you in the morning.
All right, appreciate you, Carl. You have a good one. Have a good night, Beth.
All right, you too. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you,
All right,
Beth.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello, Aaron. What in the freaking world?
I'm here.
Yo, dude, I don't know what that other number is, but it literally, I must have plugged the wrong number in at one point because it's like almost identical to your number. I'm looking at for the 4344 in the last dialed, and I hit it, and this guy picks up, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's Aaron, but it doesn't sound like Aaron. And I'm like, what in the hell's going on, dude?
For real.
Bro, that had to be funny as hell for him the first time when I had Carl on the line and we were on the three-way, and he's like, what is going on? So
really? Like, what in the world?
Oh my goodness, dude. All right, yeah, he was getting real squirrely there. And honestly, I didn't see that coming from the conversation yesterday. Like, there was no indication whatsoever about an attorney. You know what I mean? Like, and getting squirrely like that.
He did mention about something about an attorney to me. I mean, I didn't get into details about it, but he did say something about an attorney. But I didn't. Yeah, no, you're right. I didn't think he was gonna go like super squirrely about the 350, but I kind of sensed it in a way when he did answer our phone calls. I kind of sensed it a little bit.
Yeah. Now the nice thing is, like we're not dead in the water, but like the problem is even trying to nail him down, like he wasn't even willing to like commit at the number. Like, because I would have basically, if he would have, there was no point in going back to the underwriters and, like going through that whole dog and pony show to come up to, the 375 if he's not like ready to commit to it. You know what I mean?
Right. And he
We
said did he say he was ready? Because I heard him. I got cut off at the very end. He said that I was at the point where he's saying if you send it to his attorney and his attorney looks at it and he feels like that's his bottom dollar, he'd move forward. That's all I was hearing from that.
Well, not
I don't
even
know if
saying,
he
not
even.
even, yeah, not
Yeah.
even saying that if that's his bottom dollar, he was basically saying like, as long as he just doesn't want it to be like a shady agreement. So I don't know if he has like, there's some sense of concern about the agreement. And I don't know whether he would have, and I didn't know that he brought up an attorney to you previously. Had I known that, I think I don't know that anything would have been much different, but we might have been able to kind of
Right.
like suss that out a little bit, and kind of pull that objection out of him. Cause like, when somebody says something like that early on, one of the things that you want to do when you're going to close is like, hey, so like assuming we can get to a number that makes sense, like, is there anything else that has to happen prior to you accepting an offer? And they're like,
Right. And
usually
I
they're
asked
like,
that
well, like
question.
what, and then it's like, well, like,
Right.
talk to, like Aunt Norma Jean, who's like your trusted advisor or something like that. And then they're like, well, I would want to talk to an attorney. Oh, tell me more about that. Right. And then you kind of
Right.
uncover the objection on the front end. Um, but I think, in this situation, like we've been so transparent with him on everything that
Right.
and what I did, and I don't know if you had already gotten cut off at this point, but what I did was when he, brought up, basically I confirmed that like even if we could get to the 375, he wouldn't pull the trigger. He'd want to talk to the
I
attorney.
heard that.
I was like, okay, well, like I'm gonna have to go to bat to like get this, get them to come all the way up to 375. The first thing they're gonna
Right.
say is like, Chris, you know how this works. Like, I mean, if we can't, it's already scrutinized. I mean, if we could come up, is he ready to go right now? And if I
Exactly.
can't tell them yes, then like it's going to be harder for me to, get them to fight for it, And so he was like, okay, well,
Right.
what if I take it to the attorney first, and then come back to you? So then after that,
Oh.
then what I did, and you may have noticed this, but essentially the goal was I want to set the expectations for kind of how to have the conversation with the attorney, right? So I
Right.
so I restated the fact that remember this is not, the same as just like a cash offer where we're buying on it, closing on it, and fixing it up, right? We're bringing this out, so effectively we're selling this before we even close on it. You know what I mean? And I wanted him to go
Right.
into the conversation with the attorney because if you don't do that, then when he gets on the call with the attorney and he's like, hey, I got these guys that are going to buy my house. And then the attorney's going to look through that contract and he's going to be like, they're not buying your house. And then it's going to
Right.
blow up. You know what I mean? But if he goes in
Yeah.
to the conversation with the attorney and tells them exactly what's happening, then, there's a high likelihood them reviewing it and being like, okay, well, that's pretty much what it says here that they're doing. And
Right.
then he might say, okay, well, I do have some concerns about this or this, and then it gives us an opportunity to at least have those conversations.
100%. And that's why I was that's what I was gonna. So when that's the part that got cut off when he was asking. He's saying that I knew he was like he kind of didn't really understand it as well because he's saying the way he said it. He thinks basically like we're buying the house and that makes sense. I think if you like. Did you explain to him that we wouldn't be buying the house if we can get 375? Does he understand that? Like, is he going to tell his
I told
attorney that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I told him that we're not buying the house even at the 350, right? Like the
Right.
350 or the 375, right? So he knows like we're not the buyer, that we're marketing it out, and so that's what I was telling him is like, hey, when you take it to the attorney, just make sure like, obviously we're not just buying it cash, right? We're bringing it out to our
Right.
investor network to, for them to buy, and we're going to, shoulder the burden of any repairs that are necessary, all that stuff.
And what did he say about that? That's the point where I got cut off.
Yeah, he was just like,
Did he
he
agree with that?
just, yeah, he just agreed with it. I don't think there wasn't any significant response to that in either direction that was like, super compelling other than just like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, that type of thing.
Right.
So,
Okay, so basically, if we can get this up to 375, is he 100% certainty that he'll move forward?
the only thing is he wants to have the attorney look at it. So unless the attorney,
Right.
comes back with some wild thing, which, again, we told him exactly what we're doing. So I don't think that there's anything wild that the attorney would come back with, but crazier things have happened. So we'll see. But yeah, pretty much at the 375, that's where he would want to be, and he would move forward with that. So at least
We
as
would
far
still
as
profit.
what's that?
We would still profit if we offered him 375 and it worked out and the realtor
Yeah.
listed it. We would still profit, right? Like we'd be in the clear.
Yeah, assuming, again, this is based on the assumptions that, the agent could list it at 450 and it would sell at that. If you go 450, let's say it's sold at 450 times 0.9 would be 405 minus 375 would put us at a $30,000 net margin.
Okay. I mean, that's about where we needed to be at minimum anyways. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't really want to go lower than that because this is going to be a long process we're going to have to do for him to get two of these properties, possibly have to do some cosmetic rehabs and whatnot. So, I mean, that makes sense. Hopefully he can agree with that and just get the ball rolling because what I don't want to happen is him just saying, is there any way you guys can do more than 375 and just trying to like collect offers? You know what I'm saying? Like as in like, hey, are you like looking to sell today? Or are you just collecting offers for the future?
Yeah.
And I always ask my sellers that question as well. Like if I give you an offer today and make a win-win scenario, like would you be willing to move forward now, or are you just collecting offers and just observing things? And then if they are, then we would rather spend our time on something else. I mean, I don't know, because then he still wants an offer, you know what I mean? But I just don't want him to like try to cut above 375 and keep like climbing his way up that ladder, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's no way he's going to be able to, like, he's certainly not going to get a cash offer that's anywhere near where we're at. A cash offer needs to be, in the high twos, maybe three, best case scenario, you know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to get a cash offer. Like at this point, his only other alternative would be listing it. But, this is one time where like having an appraisal, that appraisal that he has is actually like somewhat working in our favor. It's not helping us get locked up at 350, but it's, he's not, I don't see him really asking for a whole lot more. He sounds like he's like a little bit of a gambling man, right? And so I would say on the conversation tomorrow, right? If the attorney is like, yeah, everything seems fine. And I even told him, I was like, hey, I'm willing to get on the phone with the attorney. And his wife, he put me on speakerphone and his wife was there. And so I got, yeah, okay. So I was like, like, hey, I'm willing to get on the phone with the attorney too and clarify if they have any questions. And she was like, oh, okay, great. Like they were, that seemed to be like reassurance that like, hey, we're not doing anything shady. So yeah, but if it sounds like, oh, the attorney's all good, but honestly, man, even 375 is on the lower end. I think I could get more. I'm just gonna be like, man, I thought you were a gambling man yesterday, but you're really liking to gamble, because like now we're not even like we're literally at the same number he would net, if not somewhat more, So and then I think the only go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we gotta hit him with that closing phrase. You know what I'm saying? Once we come back with 375, because did he set up a call? What time tomorrow? Did y'all plan when he's going to talk to the attorney and give you a call back?
Yeah, he's sending over the agreement today, and then he's going to try to talk to the attorney in the morning, and then he's going to text you to let you know what time we can talk.
Okay, so he's got a copy of the agreement, like a copy in his email.
Yeah, and I can kill that before the end of the day tomorrow. So I'm not going to let him hold on to that beyond tomorrow.
Awesome. Okay,
So,
yeah. That sounds good. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I knew. I mean, most deals people want to run it by their attorney anyways. So I mean, I don't see him like trying to like climb up the ladder, because you are right. I mean, that's a pretty valid question. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
especially when you're selling two houses. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
I
I
mean,
don't know, man. I don't want to sound too choppy at it. Like I don't want I know you're doing a great job with controlling them and everything. I just don't want him to like climb up that ladder though. That's what I'm scared of.
there's really nowhere else for him to climb. Like, and the thing is, right, like the result is going to be the result regardless of what we do, right? If there's still the inkling that he thinks he can get more on the market, it doesn't really matter, right? Like nothing we're going to do is going to get him over that hump, because that's still going to be a
Right.
lingering question in the back of his mind, right? And
Right.
so essentially what you're dealing with is he's struggling with the fear of regret, right? And so what we need to do like tomorrow when we get on the phone with him is, unless he's just like, yep, if you guys can get the 375, I'm good to go, then we just have to like position the fear of regret versus, the fear of loss, right? Because it's like, hey, look, I can tell you, like, in no uncertain terms, like if the reason we're able to do what we can do is because you haven't listed it, right? The moment
Right.
you list it and now the
That was
market
awesome.
tells you, right, like what is going to happen, right? Like now all of a sudden we have access to information that we didn't have before. And now we're going to be questioning, why didn't you sell it? Why didn't it sell? And then it's going to be like, well, are we going to be able to sell it? Were our numbers wrong in the first place? And I can tell you, we're not going to move forward. Basically, it poisons the well, right? So,
Right.
we don't, one of the qualifications for this program is it cannot have been listed within the last 6 to 9 months, right? And we can just tell them that.
Right. 100%.
So,
Exactly. That's what Rich tells me as well when I hit him up with deals. He tells me the same exact thing about that.
yeah.
I mean, I don't see like, I mean, last option, worst case scenario, I think we can, if he turns down everything, we can give him a seller finance offer,
Yeah.
possibly, and try to give him a large down payment or something.
Yeah.
Hashtag money method or something like that.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. Then
I
again,
don't, I
you have
don't,
to have tenants, and it's got to be a good cash flow. So that would open up a
yeah.
whole nother.
Yeah, a creative finance on this wouldn't work, because like unless he's just looking, and the only way it would work is with a really small down payment, because they're each going to need $60,000 worth of work. So you have to factor that in the upfront cost, right? So you're going to have closing costs, 60K worth of repairs, maybe 50 if you want to do
Right.
like a rent ready remodel, and then whatever money you want to give to him up front. So, call it, if you do it a 50K renovation, 5K for closing costs and 20K up front, well, now you're at what's
Right.
that, $75,000. And that's like,
Right.
damn near 20% down. So, that's not going to make a whole lot of sense either. So,
For sure. That makes sense.
but
So yeah, we'll just shoot for a good note tomorrow and lock him up for 375, and
yeah,
hopefully everything works out.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, and hey, you know what? Worst case scenario,
Yes,
if we
sir.
can't get them both, maybe we can say like, hey, okay, why don't we do this? Why don't you take the one that you think is worth more, give us the crack at the one that you think is worth a little bit less, and like,
Right.
then you're
And
not
who knows?
leaving
Maybe it does. Right.
as much on the table.
Right. And then again, that could. But then again, let's don't say anything about that. If he
Of
mentions that at the
course.
very end, we can hit him with that for sure.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
way I would
Let's.
bring that up is if we're about to get off the phone tomorrow without a contract.
Okay. 100%. I just wanted to clarify that and make sure.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
trust
Okay.
me, dude. I'm not leaving money on the table until it's absolutely like until the last second.
Right. 100%. Well, yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time, man. I know you got kids, you got a family and stuff. I'm still
Yep.
23 years old. I'm still young, man. I started off real estate when I've been doing it for 3 years now.
Nice.
I've been thinking about getting my license, working on that, saving, but I've been trying to do these novations, man. I want to
Bro,
be ethical.
yeah, I honestly like I would if it's me and I'm your age, like, yeah, maybe get your license, but the reality is it's not you if you get your real estate license, you can only do real estate in your local area, right? Like, I mean, you could still do
Right.
wholesaling novations and stuff like that. I would look into
Exactly.
getting if I was 23 years old, I would look at getting my lending license because you can do that in all
Really?
50 states.
Is
Yeah,
that
you
that's
could be
been like a private money lender? A
no,
private
not a
money lender?
private
Is that
money
what you're
lender. No, just be like a mortgage broker, right? Because you can be a mortgage broker and you find the right broker house, you could have access to hard money loans, you could have access to all fix and flip loans, you can have access to conventional. So now you open yourself up to the
Right.
traditional real estate market, but also the investor side. And because with certain licenses, you can do all 50 states, you could literally be sitting behind a computer screen and freaking working with people in any state across the country. Whereas as a real estate agent, you can only work with people, you can only list properties in the market where you're licensed. So,
Yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that because that is true. Screw that.
but,
Because
but,
my
I
goal is
gotta,
to grow a company. Yeah.
yeah, I have to call this other seller, that I'm trying to lock up as well. So let me hit this
For sure.
lady up and then let's talk tomorrow.
Okay, I'll be sending you some more leads as well, man.
All right. Sounds good,
We're gonna
brother.
keep ripping until we get one ripped.
Hell yeah, man. We're going to get some stuff across the finish line, dude. Freaking get you up
We
on the
gotta get it
board
to
here.
ripper, man.
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
All right,
All
brother.
right,
I
brother.
appreciate you.
God bless. Have a good night.
You too, man. See ya.
Hi, this is Rhonda. I'm either driving or charging my phone. Please leave me a message and I'll get back. Hey, I was trying to answer, but I disconnected.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I'm so sorry that this took longer than I told you it would take. I was actually up there working with them, and then the moment I walked back to my phone, or to the desk, I had a call come in, and I was dealing with this frantic situation. So I apologize.
That's all right. I got some plants moved.
You got some what?
Plants moved.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I had to go. I think I told you my wife and I are closing on a house, and earlier today I had to swing over to meet with
Yep.
the landscaper because it's been sitting vacant for like 3 months. So the it's like a jungle out back. So oh man. But all right. So I've got really, really good news for you. I went to bat for you, and honestly, I don't know if the underwriter just woke up on the right side of the bed, or he got lucky with his wife last night or something. But I was able to get him all the way up to the 615 based on the terms that we had discussed with the 120 days and the whole situation of you finding the place and the terms of it being contingent on you finding suitable housing.
Okay.
So all I need real quick, what is your email address?
Initials R, S as in Sam, R, period, number 4, at att.net.
Okay. rsr.4@att.net.
Correct.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And are you able to pull up your email right now?
Yep. As soon as
Okay,
I get one.
perfect. All right, so let me see here. All right. Let's see here.
I have to warn you, I have very slow cell service out here, so it might take a
No
few extra.
worries. That's totally fine. I get it.
My
I don't know.
computer is so old it doesn't even work anymore, so I have to
Oh,
do everything
geez.
on my phone.
Do you have Verizon or do you have a different cell service?
Cell service is AT&T,
Oh, okay.
but my cell phone carrier is Consumer Cellular.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you saw any posts not too long ago about like Verizon having like this massive like blackout issue.
We had
And
Verizon when we first got cell phones 20 years ago,
uh
and he well he did, I didn't. He couldn't get service out here in Valley Center at all.
oh geez.
So we immediately switched to T-Mobile, which was a little better.
Hmm.
And over the years, they've gotten even better. But then when we went to Consumer Cellular, our direct TV is tied in with AT&T.
Okay.
So when you bundle your computer and your satellite, you get a big break.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Got
All they
it.
do, they raise the direct TV, but they lower the computer cost.
Yeah, exactly. It all shakes out to be the same thing, and then you're like, and then they every month or every couple months they raise it, and then you're like, this is the same price it started out when I originally tried to negotiate with you guys.
Yeah, every year they raise it $5 on my direct TV, and I call them. I go, you didn't give me a notice, and I didn't approve it.
Yeah.
You can't just raise my rate just because you feel like it. I'm not even locked into a contract anymore.
Yeah. Well, and the best is when you do call and they're like, "Oh, well, you know what? We actually have this other program." Like, "Oh, how convenient."
Yeah, I hope for that, but they never have anything to offer me yet, so
Yeah.
I just suffer and pay the bill.
Yeah, I wish our utility companies were like that, but it's like, nope, we're a monopoly and you have to pay SDG&E this exorbitant fees and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate. Thank goodness for solar.
Yeah, right.
So
All
should I
right.
be looking for an email now because I have nothing yet?
Yep, yeah, you should have it. Should be in your inbox. It might be in your spam folder.
Let me get into my email. Let's see, nothing since I cleared all my garbage. Nothing yet. It's slow. I apologize for that.
Oh, no worries.
So where'd you guys buy a house at?
Are you familiar with Encanto?
I've heard of them. I don't think I've ever been there.
It's like, so if you're in San Diego, do you know Lemon Grove? Have you ever heard of Lemon Grove?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's basically like it's 3 miles southwest from Lemon Grove.
So is that
So,
considered East County or no?
no, it's actually City of San Diego. Surprisingly,
Oh, okay.
it's 92114. But it's a real like the structure of the purchase is awesome. I mean, like there's other than just like God having his hand in it, like there's no way like we would have gotten anything like this. Um, Basically the situation is the sellers, they had a VA loan, they bought it like a couple years ago and
Mm.
they moved out of San Diego already. They had it listed for like 100 days and they were getting to the point where if they reduced it any further, they would have had to cut a check to sell it. And
Oh, yeah.
so I was actually able to come in and solve their problem by taking over their existing mortgage at a 4.67% interest rate and then giving them basically it's going to be like $40,000 cash to close. So all in 40K up front and then 4.67% interest rate on an $800,000 house.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and it's fully renovated. It needs a roof, but I think we can handle the next probably 9 to 12 months without doing the roof. We'll do that next year.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
What the heck? I'm not getting anything. No
hmm.
email. No, my last one is USAA. That's in my trash. Nothing. I go through this every time. I really need to get an email. It takes forever.
Oh man.
Inbox.
And now my
No.
wife's texting me all these different things on like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. She's like, we need this shelf, we need this bed frame, this. I'm like, there goes that $40,000 cash to close. Now it's gonna be more like 60 with all the things she wants to buy.
Oh, I like Marketplace though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Marketplace is great. What's even better than Marketplace is like I don't know if you guys have Mountain Valley Center, um like the local buy nothing Facebook groups where people are just like giving stuff away.
I've heard of it. I don't know if I've ever gotten on it.
Oh, you gotta check it out. Like if you just search, like if you're on Facebook, if you search on Facebook for, like buy nothing Valley Center, you'll find groups and you'd be blown away some of the stuff people give away, like stuff that's like pretty darn expensive and they're just gonna like give it away. And we're like, yes, I'll take that. Like we got like it was a brand new memory foam king size mattress that was in an Airbnb. So it was like virtually never used really, because they only had the Airbnb set up for like a month or so. I was like, yeah, we'll take that.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
I tell my husband, stay off of that Marketplace. We want to move.
yeah, exactly.
We don't need new things. Not yet.
Oh man.
I am kind of like speechless. I don't know what's going on with my emails. Nothing.
Oh man.
I've had nothing to... Oh, here we go. Christopher, deal.
There you go.
Okay, just came through.
All
Gee,
right.
fine.
Perfect. So let me know when you pop that open and we'll walk through it together. Make sure you have all your questions answered and we'll get this all wrapped up for you.
All right, give me 30 seconds. I'm taking my steaks off the barbecue.
Oh, yeah. You definitely don't want them sitting too long.
No, these are grade AAA ribeyes.
Oh, nice.
They start to be overcooked. Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're all good.
So I'm sure your wife is chomping at the bit, going, why isn't he calling me back?
She just texts me pictures of the stuff and I just do thumbs up or thumbs down.
There you go. Okay, let me pull this up. Here we go. Show pictures. Open the document. Okay. So this is just like DocuSign?
Yep, exactly like DocuSign, except it's like a fraction of the price.
Oh, you have to pay for DocuSign?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what's crazy about DocuSign? It's like 45. It's not super expensive. It's like $45 a month. But where they get you is you're limited to 10 signatures a month. I'm like, we've maxed out 10 signatures on one agreement with a set of sellers before, like 10 a month. That's so PandaDoc gives you unlimited signatures.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay.
I'm reading it now.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Let me know once it's loaded. It should say purchase contract for real estate.
Okay. Purchase contract for real estate.
Perfect. Okay. So we'll start at the top and I'm just going to basically bullet point things here for you. So the very top is your name spelled correctly.
Yes, it is. Now, even though my married name is Richardson-Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have Hill on this, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
I don't think it's going to make a difference. If title ends up needing it, we'll just have like an addendum that you would sign, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference because what the tax records are showing on it is that it's just Rhonda S. Richardson.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, and then REI Made Easy Inc. is one of our entities. And then the address, is that all correct?
Double checking, Charlin Road, Valley Center, California 92082, yes.
Perfect. I don't expect you to know the APN off the top of your head. We pulled that from the tax records. again, we'll just get an addendum if there's an issue with that. As you can see, the next section is basically describing the property as is condition, includes any like fixtures, appliances, things like that. And then, anything that you're going to take with you. Obviously, we'll talk about that, get that squared away. Purchase price, $615,000. We have a deposit to make the agreement contractually legal. And then the balance is paid out at close of escrow. Section 1 is closing costs. So this just says all closing costs are going to be paid in full by us. Section 2, encumbrances, is any pre-existing debt or past due taxes or unpaid utility bills that would come out of your side. Section 3 is tax proration.
Can we back up to section 2?
Yeah.
Am I obligated to pay off my solar even though it's under a lease?
Oh, you know what? I forgot about the solar. Let me double check here. Give me a second.
It is transferable. I have that in writing.
Okay. What is the balance on that?
I don't know what the balance is. I just get the monthly bill. It never gives me a running balance.
Okay. When did you put the solar in?
August of 2011. It's a 20-year lease.
20-year lease. Okay. 20-year lease. Do you remember what the original purchase price was?
See, I don't. I want to say 40,000 sticks in my mind.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then my second question is the property taxes. The first installment is due December 10th. Who's obligated for that?
Yes. So anytime between now and close of escrow, you're still the owner of the property. So just maintain status quo on everything. Keep making.
Okay. My escrow is 100. No, my escrow is 60 days. Or is my escrow is 120?
120, right? We talked about you needed 60 days to find and then potentially 60 days to close. But it's no later than 120.
Okay, and in the event I find something earlier than 60 days, will that narrow that margin?
Yeah, we'll do everything we can to push the closing, forward. So it just depends on exactly like where in that time frame and like when you're expected to vacate and everything. So.
Okay.
And you'll see there's some additional terms at the bottom once we get that's on page 3 that I'll review with you. So yeah, then the tax proration, right? If usually in California, you'll have taxes that you've already paid for the year and you'll get some back. So there could be a scenario where depending on the date that we close, you get a little extra on the proceeds at close of escrow because you're getting paid back for taxes pursuant to when we close.
Okay.
And then section 4 is the close of escrow, the 120. And then the earnest money deposits held by the title company. We usually use Alliance Escrow, but that's not my decision to make. The inspection, we're, just basically we need to have access to be able to inspect the property, make sure everything's in its, current condition, and all that jazz. Buyers continue to access to the property. So as we talked about, being able to get access to do inspections and market, and bring in potential buyers during that period as we're pre-marketing. So that's section 7. And then you'll see there's an initial box on that first page there. If you click it, it'll allow you to you can either select a font that like is pre-programmed, or you can choose to like draw your initials as well.
Okay, I just have to clarify. I told you that I could not move until I sold, correct?
Correct, yep. And if we get to on page 3, section 21 is additional terms and conditions. If you want to zip to that, I'll review the other pages with you too, but if you want to zip to that, I'll review that section with you.
Well, my only question is, once the close of escrow, that means that the funds will be in my bank account. How much, are you giving me any kind of leeway to vacate this property?
So we typically will, need to close with the property being vacant. Depending on the situation with that particular property, we can kind of figure out like what makes the most sense. I mean, we can kind of keep that fluid because it just depends on what they're going to want from you, like, is that seller going to need time to vacate their house after they close? Like, so we'll have to line all those things up. But we can work with you on that 100%.
I don't want to be stuck here and no place to, well, I just, that's the contingency, obviously.
Yeah. So the contingency basically just says that the agreement is contingent on the seller finding suitable replacement housing during the closing period, the 120 days. And then in the event you haven't found suitable housing, then we just agree to extend, while you're still looking for suitable housing.
Okay. I got my eye on a property.
Okay.
And it is vacant, but it will take us probably a month to move all of our things out.
Okay.
And with that being said, that I'm talking like maybe one trip a week. That's a lot of miles to drive, and we're not young people.
I gotcha. Okay. So sometimes what we've done is, we can kind of help out with some of that type of stuff where, rather than having to go back and forth, we've set up like pods and had, pods dropped off so that you can load the stuff into the pods and then they can basically ship it to the next location. And then even if you're not ready to quite move in just yet, they can store that pod like locally to where the new property is, to make it easier. So we can be flexible, and just basically in these situations where you have like the contingency of having to find new housing and sort that stuff out, we just have to be in, a little bit more excessive communication with each other and like letting us know, what's going on so we can coordinate on our end to make sure that, the timelines are syncing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to, even though the house that I'm looking at is vacant, the sellers, if I don't have the cash, because I told them, I've already talked to them, and it would be a cash purchase price. If I don't have the cash at this time, if I have to wait for the close of escrow, and I don't know, maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, it's usually a lot easier than it seems. It's like, wait, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? So like, I totally get it, and you want to make sure everything's ironed out. And like I said, it's just a matter of just making sure that you're in communication with us as you're going through the process of finding a place, putting in an offer, letting them know that like, hey, I'm selling my property, and we have to do the closing there and everything. And usually it's pretty straightforward. So once, everybody kind of stresses out about it on the front end until they're like, it's like, oh, that was actually way easier than I thought it was going to be. So.
Yeah, I sold a rental property a few years ago, and that was so easy.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's always easier when you're not the one that occupies the property. When you got all your stuff, you're like, oh my God, we've been here for 15 years, and I got to figure out where all this stuff goes. So.
Yeah, probably 35 years, and there is too much stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I keep telling my wife that. I'm like, how do we have all this stuff in this attic that we haven't touched in years?
I know, right? I got two 20-foot containers, and I tell my husband, all that shit used to be in our house, and this is like a 1,400 square foot house. Where did it go? Where did we put it? We haven't used it. Let's get rid of it.
Oh, totally.
Okay, so I'm on page 2. I went ahead and initialed that.
Okay, perfect. So page 2, occupancy of premise. Currently we have it set as vacant. Again, as you communicate with us, as to what's going on, if we need like a little bit of a post-occupancy type of situation, we can work that out, and then we'll handle that. Typically, in the event that there needs to be a post-occupancy scenario, like what kind of price point homes are you looking at?
The place that I found that I like is 410.
Okay, so it's less than this. So yeah, normally, just so we're clear, normally when there is some sort of a post occupancy, especially in the good old state of, California, there's usually some sort of an escrow holdback, which basically, if you're not familiar what that means, it's basically like, okay, if the purchase price is 615 and you need, an extra, 15 days or 30 days or something like that, say, okay, we can do the closing. You'll get paid all but like 50 grand at closing, and then the rest will stay in escrow until the property is vacated, and then you get it at the end of the vacate. That way there's like an incentive for you to, make the move, not that you wouldn't, but, unfortunately, California doesn't exactly protect owners of property. They just protect squatters of property. So, yeah, but as of right now, we'll just leave it vacant, and then, we can make adjustments as we kind of go through the process and you find the new place. Title documents. So basically, it's just saying that we're going to go through the normal process of getting, title insurance and all that stuff. Title delays and extensions. In the event that there's not clear title, then, that could extend the closing date until title clears. Make sure that there is a clear title. That's a very rare circumstance. We almost never run into that. Say that again.
I said I do have the clear title.
Perfect. And then title insurance, if the title is not insurable, then obviously that, nullifies the agreement. We would have to part ways because we do have to have title insurance. Again, I've never had that happen in the entire time that I've been doing this. So, seller representations and warranties is basically just saying that you are who you say you are. You have the right to sell it. You express the condition in the condition that is to your knowledge, and that, any personal property that's left behind after close of escrow, other than, any additional terms we discuss, would basically become part of the property. All right. Buyer disclosure. So one of the partners of the company is a licensed real estate agent in the state of California, but they're not acting as a real estate agent in this transaction. Okay. Section 14 and 15 is basically default, right? We want to buy the property. You want to sell the property. So we're not going to default. You're not going to default. We're just going to move forward and get to close. Section 16 is specifically the pre-marketing agreement that we discussed earlier, where we'll market the property while we're under contract. And that could be to other investors, retail buyers, all that.
Okay.
Section 17 is basically memorandum. This is just us notifying the county recorder's office that, hey, we're in contract to purchase the property. It puts everybody on notice. And so just records that with the county. And then you've got a box there for your initials as well.
Yep.
And then section 18. 18 and 19 kind of go together. So 18 is assignability and novation. So we're entering into a cash purchase agreement with you. If through our pre-marketing, we find somebody that's like, yeah, I want to buy this property and I just sold $2 billion worth of Google stock and I'm ready to buy this cash, we can actually assign our agreement directly to them. So even before close of escrow, and they would basically just take our place in the agreement and close instead of us, right? It makes it easy. Novation is, let's say through our pre-marketing, we find somebody that is bringing a conventional loan or FHA loan, then novation is just the process for basically switching it over to them while we're in escrow, and they would just take our place. Okay. And then 19 is basically just saying that we're entitled to anything above and beyond what we agreed to pay you, which is the 615, right? So if somebody's like, hey, I think there's $1 billion worth of oil underneath this property and I'm going to give you $1 billion for it. Doesn't really matter to you. You're getting the 615. I mean, it probably would matter because you'd be a little upset about that much money, but you're getting what you want, and then we get everything above and beyond. Section 20 is no oral changes. So basically everything that is in the contract is the contract.
Okay.
And then 21 is those additional terms that we discussed regarding the contingency. And so then you scroll down there, there should be a section for a signature, a date, and print your name.
Okay, I'm just going to read this. In the event the seller has not found suitable housing during this period, the parties agree to extend the agreement by a term not to exceed 60 business days. And if I can't find anything after that, then what happens?
Then we can revisit and discuss and then decide, like, are you giving up on finding a new place, or are you still searching, and we can work with you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so that'd be me. That's right. Date 15th.
Oh, will it let you edit the signature just to put your middle initial?
I can try.
Only because that's what I have it on at the top.
Right. I'm not seeing where it lets me edit.
It looks like it deleted it.
Have
Oh,
I
you
touched it?
know what? Don't worry about it. I think it's because of the way it was originally set up. Not a big deal.
Okay, and I am to enter a value?
Yeah, so just type print your name, sorry. I don't know why it says enter value. It should just say print, but yeah.
Oh, value is supposed to mean my name?
Yeah, exactly. You'd think value would be a number. I've actually had people that see that and they're like, oh, 615, and they put in the 615,000. I'm like, should have clarified that.
Do you want me to put my middle initial?
No, don't put it there. Just put the way your signature is.
Okay.
If title needs like an addendum, like clarifying that, then we'll just get an addendum. Not a big deal.
Okay.
Okay, so next page is authorization to sign listing docs. So as we pre-market, one of the ways we pre-market is via the MLS. And so this just gives us the ability to put it on the MLS if we choose through the pre-marketing.
Okay. You live in Prescott?
I don't live in Prescott. Actually, the entity is located. Technically the mailing address for the entity is in Prescott. One of the partners lives in Prescott.
Oh, okay. I got friends in Prescott.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
I've been there. My daughter's godmother lives there, and it's a beautiful place.
Absolutely, yeah, it's great. They have like good kayaking, and there's like a lake nearby one of the partner's house there, and it's got like all these like red rocks and stuff like that, and it's cool kayaking. Okay, so as you scroll down to the next set of documents, there's 2 pages. It's the novation and indemnification agreement. So this is just a set of instructions for the escrow company. So if through our pre-marketing, somebody comes with a conventional loan or FHA loan, this just explicitly tells the escrow company how to perform that transaction and shift it over so they can use their loan. As you can see on about the 5th or 6th line down, you can see the purchase price is $615. This changes absolutely nothing for you. You still get the net number of $615. Okay.
Okay.
And then if you scroll all the way to the very bottom, you'll see there's a signature line and a date.
Okay. Kind of browsing through this.
Yep.
You're working overtime now.
Oh yeah. Yep. Last night I didn't get home until like 7:15, and my wife was just getting ready to put down the baby, and I was like, was fortunate enough to like slide in there and get a little snuggle and kiss with her before she went down for her
How old's your
sleep
daughter?
time. She turns 20 months turns 2 December 8th. So she's basically 20, what's that, 22 months?
22 months?
Yep. Yeah, she's awesome. She's actually adopted. We as a super long story, but we actually got to be in the delivery room when she was born.
So then she's extra special because she was chosen.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, it was I wouldn't change it for the world, even though it cost us $85,000 to go through that adoption process. I would.
They all need a home.
Exactly. And she is the freaking cutest little girl ever. I'm gonna, as of right now, it's cute, but once she's old enough, I'm gonna have my hands full. That's for sure. I'm under no illusions.
Daughters can be a nightmare.
We'll choose to view her as a blessing until things change.
There you go. Yeah.
So for now, I'm just going to accumulate as many guns as I can between now and the time she turns 16, and work on my polishing technique and all that.
There you go. Alrighty.
So awesome. Well, I just got the notification that all came back. We're all set to go. So what's going to happen next is, let's see, today's Tuesday. So by the end of the week, you will receive a phone call from our transaction coordinator, Carolina. She's awesome. She is going to go over like all the next steps with you. And then she'll probably schedule photos to be done, within the next week or so, and get somebody out there. We might have one of our agents that, represent us, come out and, just walk the property, just, because they're going to be our boots in the ground for like the pre-marketing and stuff. And so they'll come out, and we'll make sure to coordinate everything with you. So nobody's ever going to come out unannounced or anything like that. If
I have a gate.
Perfect. Okay. If for whatever reason, because as we market, right, we put this out, on the website and stuff like that. If ever, it's very rare that this ever happens, but sometimes people that are looking to buy a new home, they get a little anxious and a little overzealous, and they're like, I'm just going to drive over to this person's house. It should be totally fine. If that ever
they won't
happens,
get in because I keep my gate closed.
perfect. Okay, cool. But if you're ever like pulling home from, shopping and somebody's like at the gate or something like that, in no uncertain terms are you under any obligation to like let them come in. Just,
Right.
refer them
Oh, I
back
won't.
to us. Perfect.
Yep.
Good. I've had to, I've had people like, oh, I let them in and show them. I'm like, you don't have to do that, and you probably shouldn't, because it's not exactly it's 2024 and it's not exactly the safest thing. So just don't ever feel under any obligation to do a showing without us notifying you on the front end. And then just reach out to us, and, we'll make sure it's all cleared up and everything.
Okay. So is this the best number for me to reach you?
Yes, this is the best number. You should have the 525-7132.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. And if
Okay.
you don't get me, just leave a voicemail, and then Carolina will be calling you from a different number, but you can put that on file as well. So like I said, she'll call you by the end of the week to go over that welcome call. She may have some questions about things that I had already asked you. Is just, confirming details and stuff like that. She has her process to go through. And then in the meantime, if you could reach out to the solar company and get like a payoff. Yeah, payoff and a number. That would be really, really helpful. And then other than that, we should be good to go.
Okay.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
Well, I really appreciate you, Rhonda. It's been pleasure working with you so far, and it's not going to be the last time we're in contact. But it's been great working with you, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yes, we will.
Awesome. Any other questions for me before I let you go?
No, not right now.
All right, perfect.
I'm good.
Well, awesome. I'm excited for you. This is super exciting, and getting you on your next step to Utah, right?
Yeah, spend my golden years in a nice state.
Yes, that'll be awesome. All
it
right.
will be. I love Utah.
Yeah,
okay, Christopher.
Utah's beautiful.
It is.
All
Get
right.
home before your baby goes to bed.
Yes, thank you so much. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Boom. There we go, fellas. That's how we do it. So this was a 2-hour Zoom, and got it all wrapped up here on this one. I'm glad we could get that one done. Thought we might have had a 3-pack today, but we still might close that guy Carl tomorrow with his 2 properties. So awesome, Aaron. Thanks for the flames, bro. Appreciate you, man. And I think we still got a shot at getting Carl locked up tomorrow. So we're not throwing in the towel. There's a good opportunity there. But I appreciate you guys following along. Hit the like button, hit that notification bell. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We're up going live on seller calls pretty much every single day, and where we hope to make real estate investing easy. I'll see you.